before we begin. Our first speaker is Mrs. Helen Brown Dowdell. She is the CEO of Mobility Unlimited Technology Worldwide. It's a Georgia-based company and founder of the Wildestrian Foundation. Mrs. Dowdell is the inventor of the first and only adaptive traffic control signal technology exceeding ADA compliance for crosswalks, parking garages, and places of well-known traffic congestion. Mrs. Brown Dowdell created a universal traffic light crossing system to protect vulnerable citizens after an accident in a crosswalk intersection fatally claimed the life of a local wheelchair user in her community. The invention of the signal aims to protect while creating equity for the blind community along with their service dogs, Wildestrians. These are individuals who travel using a wheelchair or another mobility aid as a form of travel, senior communities, and pediatric caretakers. This invention marks the first and only adaptive wheelchair traffic signal system successfully patented. November 2021 marks nearly 153 years since the conception of the original traffic signal and nearly a century after the first African American inventor of a traffic signal, Mr. Garrett Augustus Morgan, sold his patent in 1923 to General Electric. You guys remember when I said you guys have the power to change the history, the future? You really do. Our second speaker, his name is Mr. Marcus Hill. He is one of the youngest and only African Americans working at the top of the mortgage valuation space, a multi-million-dollar industry. Through his role at Fannie Mae, he has become one of the only African Americans to have had the opportunity to place valuations on residential properties in all 50 states in the U.S. He is one of the youngest African Americans to start an appraisal company at the age of 26. Recently featured by Fannie Mae in partnership with the National Urban League, there will be also a video provided where he is interviewed discussing career opportunities in residential property and appraising. At this time, we're going to go ahead and begin our videos. And I want you guys, again, please keep in mind that you shape your future. And in you shaping your future, you shape the lives of the rest of us. Thank you so much for your awesome behavior. I really appreciate it.
Visualize a future with inclusive traffic intersections, along with an interactive crosswalk where adaptability is the norm. Communication is standard, and each and every voice is acknowledged. A place where all who are created equal live in a harmonious space designed with equality in mind. We hear you. We're here to help. To create a world of limitless, uninhibited travel where the sky knows no limits. Where you are safe and space is not limited there. Where you have the freedom to choose your path and pursue your own personal sense of happiness. Go, imagine, believe. The future is right now.
Golf has saved my life, really brought me out of a lot of deep holes that I fell into after my injury. Life changed for me August 5th, 2012. I was rear-ended by a drunk driver on the freeway and moved to Georgia 2 years ago and started playing adaptive golf. I'm pretty much on this here range, pretty much every day. I come here every morning And I play the course, try to play it 2 times a week. The course has been my freedom, just away from a lot of things that I was battling at that time. I'm rebuilding my confidence through hitting the golf ball. In Oakland, it's just a little more progressive. When I say Oakland, meaning the Bay Area, California, for that matter, you see more people like me. Just traveling in Georgia has been a lot difficult than it has been back home. The streets aren't accessible. The ground is broken up a lot here. It's not even as hilly out here, but I have more challenges here, where it's not as hilly as it is back home. When I met Helen with Wealdestrian, what kind of intrigued me was that I felt like I had met someone with the California mindset, with the accessible light that she's created. I think it opens up a world of opportunities for the population of people that are debilitated here in Metro Atlanta. So this is the Beltline. I got restaurants all along. Yeah, this is a route that I take in the morning when I'm trying to go to the market across the street to get a coffee.
Every time you cross over, do you feel like you're taking a chance?
Yeah, you're taking a chance, definitely. The wheelchair users will definitely not be able to even access this part of Atlanta.
Symbols represent a lot of things in our society. Now we have symbols all over the place. Look here, we got symbols here. Symbols tell us when to stop, they tell us when to go. That signal is telling me to cross right now. But the issue with this signal telling me to cross, it's a walking person crossing. It's not someone in a wheelchair. That's why we have 528 wheelchair users killed in accidents. The intersection needs to be retrofitted to include a Wealdestrian or an ISA so that we can have better crossing and give a motorist an opportunity to know that someone's there. The first thing Wealdestrian will do by Mobility Unlimited technology worldwide is we will come in, we will do an evaluation of the intersections. Upon evaluation, we do what we call a reimagination. So reimagine it for a wheelchair user. If I want to go across the street to my friend's house down this way or go access the tunnel or go down the street, I shouldn't be restricted to one area. So we reimagine and we add all the safety features needed to make it a safe, accessible place. And then we do all the safety precautions that we need approaching the intersections to let people know this is an inclusive, accessible spot for wheelchair users. And to invite wheelchair users there. It's almost like they're saying, if you build it, they will come. We're gonna save lives.
Wealdestrian Light would definitely, it would definitely lure more Wealdestrians to travel this path, opposed to taking the long way, which will be the Beltline to get to Krog Street Market or the tunnel.
People in wheelchairs deserve the same accessibility as everyone else.
Alrighty, guys. Mr. Ray, thank you as well for helping to put all of this together. Without much further ado, please welcome our guests, Mrs. Helen Brown Dowdell and Mr. Marcus Hill.
How are you guys doing? I think I'm loud enough without this mic. Can everyone hear me? I'm so happy to be here. So what grades do we have? Okay. I was trying to see if I heard my university, but I'd just like to start by saying thank you for having us here. I want to say thank you to your superintendent, Dr. Coley, your principal, Principal Keene. Are you here? Can you wave your hand so I can say hello? Is she here? She stepped out, okay. And thank you to all your teachers for being here and their dedication and service to you all. First and foremost, this has been an incredible journey for us. How many people have someone that they know that's in a wheelchair or that has a disability or has a disability themselves? Very good. I'm glad you are raising your hands because 4 out of 6 people are yelling for some of the disability light up, of course, light up. So what we did, we formulated a solution, engineered a solution that integrates into the existing traffic system. Now we don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to shortcut this. 1 year, a young man was killed in a crosswalk who was a wheelchair user. And that made me very, very unsettled. I created a solution that could prevent these types of injuries in the future, as you guys saw. Oh, thank you. I apologize to the live stream audience. So we engineered a device that integrates into the existing system, and we are very hopeful this will be mandated across the United States and abroad. It's very important that we focus on universal design, and that's what we've done. Like I said, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but is there someone who can click me through the presentation? So this is just talking about what a wheeldestrian is. So you guys know what a pedestrian is, right? A pedestrian is someone who crosses by using a crosswalk. And I'm sure some of you have taken Latin. Pedi is Latin for foot, like when you go get a pedicure, so to speak. So we adopted the term wheeldestrian to be more inclusive. So that's the proper term for someone who travels using a mobility aid, such as a wheelchair. As you guys know, wheelchair users are seated, they're perpendicular to the roadway, they don't have the same rotation as we do, flexibility, cannot make eye contact with drivers. So it's very essential that we develop a universal system that takes care of everyone, right? Also, blind pedestrians. And this is just something that I want you guys to become familiar with. I'm going to give you a term. It's the international symbol for accessibility. Some people call it the H word, which is the handicap sign. That's not accurate. Some people say the wheelchair sign. That's not accurate. It's actually a symbol that's synonymous with accessibility. What does that mean? That means access. If you want to create access, you have to create access points that are safe for everyone without increasing their risk of them being fatally killed. So, and then we can skip to the next one. This is an important slide as well. So we lose about 528 wheelchair users per year in crosswalk accidents. Did anyone know that? 70% of all accidents occur in the intersection. So this technology is not only going to advance your future, it's going to advance the generations to come as well. When you talk about inclusion, has anyone ever watched the adaptive sports, Paralympics? Very good, very good. And if you haven't, check those things out. They're incredible people who are doing incredible things. Times have changed. Next slide, please. One more. So we can make it to space, but can we make it across our intersections? On December the 10th, 2021, 12 disabled ambassadors were selected by Mission Astro Access in America to be the first disabled crew to fly in zero gravity. Y'all give a hand for those people. And you all heard the Marcus Williams story. It's an incredible story of triumph and adapting and overcoming. We have a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great partnerships. We work with Georgia Tech, we work with World Services for the Blind International, Wounded Warriors. Our soldiers who have defended our country should be able to come home to a land that they can navigate safely. That's really important to us. That's always been important to our mission as well. If I can leave you guys with anything today, it is just awareness and just me planting a seed. Obviously, STEM is very important to me. STEM majors are important because we make changes. I want to talk to you guys briefly about impact. You can make a small change that can make a great impact like we did. So as you're navigating through your careers, I want you to please consider STEM. STEM is very important. Some people feel like, oh, well, you know, this is too challenging, this is too hard for me to do, but you really have to give yourself a chance because you never know what God has on the inside of you that he's trying to get out as far as your purpose is concerned. Don't be afraid of things because they're a challenge. Don't be afraid of things because you don't understand. There's a journey in your understanding and your learning that you'll never achieve if you are never faced with the challenge. You're going to go through challenges for the rest of your life. You may as well buckle in, hone in, tighten up, and work your way and navigate through it. What are you guys taking up major-wise? Any STEM majors in here? Any STEM majors? Anybody majoring in engineering, science, technology, mathematics? Chemistry, very good. My word to you is keep going. Keep going. We've had a trying time in our country and in the world. We've navigated new things, but with new challenges come an opportunity to create new solutions. So if I leave you guys with anything, it will be that. Explore your curiosity. Find an answer. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible, seek ye shall find, knock and the door shall be open. And we have a little thing that we're going through now socially where we just kind of look on social media, right, to see what the trends are. And that's great. But I tell you this, be the trend, create a trend. Be a leader and lead by example. That's how you can change the world. I appreciate you guys entertaining me for a few minutes. Thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions or anything? Right there. He is not here today. He is not here today. But I'll tell him that you asked about him. We wish he could have, but he actually is working on a golf course, Bobby Jones golf course today, teaching a class. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. That's an excellent question. What's your name? David. Thanks, David. Now that's a great question. So he's asking for the outcome to pilots. So right now it's working and functioning very well. We're in the state of Mississippi right now, but we have over a dozen partner cities and another additional 19,000 cities. So that we'll be scheduling to go into pilot-wise and also just into the regular commerce and private development. So it significantly brings awareness, and what you're talking about is what we call sightline visibility, like how does this help? So when you have a motorist sitting in a parking area, sitting at a crosswalk, it gives them an alert, and it also gives them a red light. So that's a great question. We are in the state of Mississippi right now. We'll hopefully be in Georgia early or late May, and hopefully you'll see it in a city near you once we have more information on that I can't really speak about right now. Thank you for your question. I like the name, David. Yes, ma'am. Lower income areas, that's a great question. Good gracious, y'all got better questions than council members. Geez. So you're right, that's important, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Yes, this is, when we talk about universal design, it is not based on socioeconomics, right? So if it's in a poor area or a neighborhood that doesn't have the same resources as someone else, that's not gonna stop us from promoting safety. Yes, sir. Russell County, you guys are showing out. You understand? So that's something that we're kind of navigating right now. obviously, things were much bigger. Just if I'm just chatting with you guys, kind of off record, when I originally, it took me almost 2 years to get my patents. However, navigating the business side of things was a completely different ordeal. So that's something that we're still working out. Right now, I'm the first, woman that's a traffic signal manufacturer in the world. And that's a big deal, but walking those things out, I'm learning a lot of lessons along the way. So that's something that we haven't discussed as of yet, but I'm keeping my patents right now so I can keep the ownership and control the rollout. When you own something, you can have more influence and more power over that. Anyone else? Yes, sir. Any what? Stocks? No, we're not. Are we publicly traded? No. I love Russell County High School. I mean, we got deep. What's my time? Yes, sir. One more time.
How many failures occurred in your system?
Failure-wise, we did about 2 years of concept development, which means we had 2 engineering firms, a university, 2 universities, and then you guys know we did some work with Georgia Tech. So in the beginning, working through the system, it was challenging because we had to kind of, figure out how to use what's existing and integrate it in a way without making a huge disruption. So at the beginning, were there failures? Absolutely. Sir? Can he come up a little closer? One more time. It's okay. You're good. Go ahead.
How many failures occur due to the PLC failure? How much maintenance do you have to do on a regular basis?
How?
For it to be effective.
There's not a difference. We did a retrofit. That means we used existing things on the market, rearranged them, and changed the interface, added some technology. So the maintenance is the same. Anybody? I saw you somewhere, but okay. The problem that we answer is the regular problem, like you said, what's going on with the existing system? The existing system doesn't include people with disabilities. In 1990, there was an ADA law passed that basically said wherever pedestrians are, there should be access for people with disabilities, specifically those that are wheelchair users. I encourage you guys to watch this movie called Crip Camp. Y'all got Netflix? I know you guys have Netflix. Crip Camp is an excellent documentary on the history of ADA in our country. That can explain to you a lot of things that I may not have time to break down here for your next speaker. I'm gonna take 2 more questions. Yes. I was working in the legal field, and around the corner from my office, there was a student that was killed in a crosswalk that was a wheelchair user. And it did not sit right with me. And so I just started designing, and I feel like God gave me this idea. I'm a very, spiritual person. So I designed, and it wasn't easy. Like, it wasn't like the next day, oh, we have a solution. This is like over 3 years worth of work to develop the technology, and a lot of experts, a lot of, partnerships, working with organizations who believe in what I'm doing. And then also, we work with users. Like, we're Human Design Center, or Universal Design Center, which means I'm an able-bodied person. Even though I do have a disability, you guys can't tell that by looking at me, but I have an autoimmune condition that I've had. It's incurable. At one point, I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk. I couldn't feed myself. I had to move in with my parents. I couldn't get in and out of a bathtub without having assistance to get in there. So it's very personal for me. I had both my grandparents who had disabilities, so it was just a personal journey. But when I saw that accident, or when I witnessed it, and the community was kind of in a uproar over whether or not he deserved to be there, I knew it was a visibility issue. Because no one wants to intentionally hit someone in a crosswalk. So the gentleman that was driving the truck didn't see the young man crossing. So what did we do? We created equity. We created a symbol that can tell the motorist, hey, listen, someone is here that requires the ISA. I want you guys to study that term. If you can take a note, write that down, study that symbol. We have a partner school too that we work with, that we just started working with at Georgia State, and they're doing a study on the international symbol of accessibility, because in the future, in your lifetime, you're gonna see that symbol more and more everywhere you go. At airports, we work at airports. We work on land, sea, and air. I'm gonna take one more question and then I'm going to, yes. I love you guys. You have no idea. I love your questions, like genuinely. She asked, how cooperative has the government been? They've been great. They've been, for the most part, they've been progressive, honestly. Like, it's been a challenge, you know, because when we're in a room full of people, do you guys have any wheelchair users in your school? A couple of years ago. So you understand what I'm saying? Like, you know, if we don't, some people can't come into places. They say if you build it, they'll come. A lot of it is just about accessibility. That's why I said I want you guys, you don't have to ask your teachers to do this, but on your free time, when you have time, study the ISA. Study people with disabilities. And more importantly, in your own personal life where you can make a difference, start there. This isn't about me. It's not about the patent. This is about humankind. This is about humanity. This is about wanting equity and equality. This is about justice. And it's about the plight for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And everyone should have that same opportunity. The largest minority group in the world has nothing to do with race, socioeconomics. It has nothing to do with sexuality. It's disability. That's the #1 minority in the world, people who are living with disabilities. I thank you guys so much for listening to me a few minutes. Thank you for letting us share our stories. You all have a great day. Please consider STEM as you navigate your choices for college.
Thank you guys so much. You guys are doing great. We love the questions. Please give Mrs. Dowdell another round of applause. Thank you so much, Ms. Dowdell. And we're going to go ahead and introduce Mr. Marcus Hill. Thank you guys for your attention.
Russell County, hello. Hello. Y'all, I'm so excited to be here. I'm gonna try to get through this. So my name is Marcus Hill. Y'all, I wanna thank your principal, counselors, the staff, the teachers. Y'all, they really care about y'all. They want you guys to succeed. So if you're able, let's give them a round of applause. That's what's up. So we're gonna stay here for a minute, but so before I get into my career, I want to let y'all know where I'm from. So I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. Love my city of Little Rock, but raise your hand if you heard of the cable channel HBO. Raise your hand. Anybody? Okay. Yeah, listen, HBO had a documentary in my neighborhood called Banging in Little Rock. It highlighted a lot of gangs, drugs, violence, a lot of just negative things, y'all. And so, you know, there were some situations where, you know, walking home from school and got my backpack on. I had my extra white, crispy cake Swiss shoes. That's what we wore back in the day. But, you know, I'm walking home from school and, you know, I start hearing loud commotion and yelling and screaming. Yeah, I'm just trying to make it home as fast as I can, right? Or there's a time I'm laying in the bed, eating some popcorn, watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Anybody heard that? Anybody heard that? Yeah, Raphael was my favorite. So I'm in the bed watching Raphael do his thing and pow, pow. You used to hear gunshots. I used to hear gunshots all the time, unfortunately. But that one time, y'all, it got a little close and I get underneath the bed just to kind of feel safe, y'all. So I'm so thankful to my grandparents and my mom, y'all. They had me in church, they had me in sports, and you know, went on to high school, got good in football. Okay, wait a minute. Any athletes in the building? Any athletes? Okay. Y'all, listen. High school, when I went to high school, my senior year, I was in the MVP for my school, and you know, went on to college. When I was you guys' age, I wanted something for me. It was just to go to college. And so, you know, I ended up going to college, playing football at the University of Arkansas, and pledged a fraternity, y'all. My fraternity was about achievement, and that's when some things started turning in my mind that I can do some positive things. You can go to the next slide. So, my journey, it's crazy, y'all. I got into real estate right out of college, y'all. I was a real estate, I started off as an appraiser, but I wanted to learn the whole industry. So I got into appraising, I got into mortgages, started buying and flipping houses, got an opportunity to do some appraisal work for the government. So I just kind of got into something that was so passionate for me that I just wanted to make it a career. Next slide, please. So here's my appraisal license back in 2007. Y'all, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I didn't know what an appraiser was, but an appraiser is a person that puts a value on a property. And so it was a crazy time to get that type of license. Y'all, was one of the youngest in the country to start an appraisal company at the age of 26. The average age in America today is 50 years old. And so it was just a wonderful opportunity for me to find something that I love to do. Next slide, please. So here's me, I'm 26, got my own company, this is my business card. It was just an amazing time to like be in an industry where there was no young people and the industry is not diverse. So I was one of the youngest in the South to start this type of business. Next slide, please. So let's talk about appraisals. Next time. So yes. So everything has a value. If you think about it, you got houses right up there, you got apartments, land has a value, right? You got a hospital here. What's that? Your school. Your school is real estate. It has a value. This school we in right now, it costs something, it's worth something. So the people that put values on properties are called real estate appraisers. So property value is made up of location. You know, where the property is. You may have like an ocean view property or a mountain view. That's the location. You got a market. You got the age of a home. You got some older homes or new construction homes. You got improvements. Improvements is like if you got a pool in the backyard, or condition. When you do an appraisal, you go to the house and try to determine what the condition of the property is, whether it's average condition or if it's new or if it needs repairs. Also, you have a neighborhood. Neighborhoods are considered subdivisions. Next slide, please. So, a home appraisal is an objective, impartial, and independent opinion of value. It's just an opinion, but these people get paid to give their opinion. And so, here's a real deal situation of the home buying process that involves the appraiser. Let's say you guys, that's your dream house to the right there, and you got somebody trying to sell it for $200,000, right? And so you're gonna go to the bank to get that $200,000, right? And so the banker's gonna check you out, check and see how much money you're making, to see if you qualify for $200,000. But once everything checks out, the Mr. Banker is gonna, Mr. or Mrs. Banker, they're gonna tell you we got to go get your house appraised, because before you close on that loan, the bank has to have someone come out to the property and make sure that that property is worth $200,000. So the people that do appraisals, they're trying to help the buyer, and they're also for the bank, because if that property is worth $180,000, then you can't get a loan for $200,000, right? So the appraiser is such a pivotal, important part of the home buying process. This is a property here. An appraiser will come here, and he's going to do a exterior inspection of the property. He's going to jot everything down about the property. If you got a 2-car garage, if it's siding home. Next slide. Also, they're gonna go and measure the property. So on every property, an appraiser will go there and figure out how big the property is. Next slide. So this is a real live appraisal report. So people that do appraisals, they collect all the information from the house and then they put it in a report. And this is like the first page of the report. Next slide. So it's a lot of investigating, a lot of data that you got to gather from the county. When you go to the house to do an appraisal, it's a lot of information that you got to jot down and put in. Next slide. You can't really see this, but so in the appraisal industry, you're gonna go appraise a property, right? And then the next step, you're gonna find properties that are comparable to the house you're appraising. And so that's how people come up with value. Next slide. How to become an appraiser. Next slide. So, 75 hours. So back when 2005, when I started, you have to have a college degree just to get into to be a trainee in the industry. But now you can start off and start taking courses from like the Appraisal Institute or other online sources and just start taking your courses. Also, you have to get some experience hours underneath an appraisal company to get your license. So it's they're making it really easier because most of the industry is older people. And so they've changed some things to kind of allow the next generation to kind of come in and get in this career. And so the most important thing about appraisal is you have to get one before you close your house. So that means you're gonna be having a lot of work to do. So that's a good field to learn that type of skill. Next slide. And I'll just leave you guys with a little video here. I don't know if we can make sure we got the audio. Is it? No. Okay, so before that video showed the life of an appraiser. It walks you through the property. You know, you see an appraiser in the clipboard meeting the homeowner. They're doing their interior, exterior inspection. They're measuring the property. And then also, I've had the greatest joy of actually being a part of a government entity that need people that have that particular skill set. So you can start an appraisal company, start your own company, and work for banks and mortgage companies, but also you'll have government entities or companies will hire you just because you have that type of skill set. And so it's a really great career. You know, I've been in it 17 years, one of the youngest in the industry to get into it. It's a definitely lucrative field as well. You know, the average cost of an appraisal is around $400 to $600 per house. And so that's, it's a pretty good career. And I'm just really passionate about it. You know, stay connected with me. I'd love to, you know, get more information about the appraisal industry. I'll just open it up for a little questions. Anybody want to talk about appraisals? Anybody got a question? So, good question. So, you have to go and take every state has an appraisal board. And so you can go to your appraisal board and see all the different qualifications. The slide just shows 75 hours of coursework that you have to go get through. And then you have to go and do an apprenticeship underneath an appraisal company. And then go sit for the exam to get your own license. So the beauty about appraising is, it's a powerful career because nobody can, if anybody don't like your value, it doesn't matter. You're impartial, you're objective. You can't, nobody can it's a lot of power position because whatever the number is, you gotta roll with it. And so I really enjoyed this career because you gotta know what you're doing, but also, you're just putting a value on a property and giving your opinion.
Do you have any tips or tricks for anybody who isn't an appraiser but still wants to maybe purchase or sell real estate?
Today, buying a house, you have to first they're looking at tax returns, so that's, they're gonna take your career figure out your income, look at your last 2 years of tax returns, and you know, you're gonna go through the process of finding your property, get an appraisal. Most of the majority of America gets a mortgage loan. You gotta get an appraisal because the bank is not gonna wanna give you the money unless it's worth it. And so that's why it's such an important career. And I, you know, definitely hope you guys just take a view of it, you know, because it's never going anywhere. You know, people that buy houses have to get one. Absolutely, good question. So if you have a house, and let's say it has carpet in the property, let's say it has just regular countertops, or now, and if you want to increase your value, now you may want to exchange your carpet out for hardwood floors, or granite countertops, or updated appliances, the nice stainless steel appliances. So yes, that would directly affect your property value. Well, so appraisals are fee appraisals, and so they pretty much tell that the bank, you know, tells them that they need an appraisal. They just give their fee to the bank, and so that's why it's such a good career, because, you know, if you charge $500 to go do an appraisal, that's what they got to pay. You have to go through some coursework, the 75 hours, and you can find that by the Alabama State Appraisal Board. You can Google that. Every appraisal, people have a board that they have to go, they have to answer to them. And so you can just Google Alabama State Appraisal Board and get all the qualifications to be licensed in the state of Alabama. Okay. Yes, it was. And so, y'all, listen, I was afraid, actually. I decided to start my own company. I was so young, and I didn't know the next year was going to be a recession, right? But that's the beauty of appraising, is because you need appraisals more when you just buy a property. When you refinance, you have to get an appraisal. Unfortunately, when you get divorced, you have to get an appraisal then. When you tax appraisals, you know, when banks foreclose on properties, you still got to get that stuff appraised. So even in an up and down market, the appraisal industry is just a really good industry. And I had a really good year, the year of the recession. So once I got into the appraising industry years ago, my first year I did up 6 figures. I mean, you got to think about it. So if I'm charging, you know, $500-600 an house, you know, it's a good career. Anybody? Well, anybody? Any more questions? Okay. Say that again. Yeah, so, you know, the thing about appraising, sometimes you never know the situation, you know, like when you get an appraisal order, I mean, you do have to identify what the problem is. That's the first rule in appraising. You're trying to figure out, okay, is this a purchase transaction, a refinance transaction, or somebody just trying to get a general market value? But yeah, no, I mean, you just really, you know, you really don't know what's going on. But in the downturn, when the economy went down during the recession, it was a lot of that was because it was a lot of bad values out in the neighborhoods. And so, you know, if you're actually impacting their neighborhood with the right value and you're helping people sell their properties in a downturn, you know, you really feel good that you're kind of helping the public. So if you walk into a house and it's not livable, the electricity don't work, the heating and cooling doesn't work, it's not livable, you know, that's a main thing that's gonna impact the value of that property. Because you gotta list repairs on every single house. And so it's a really job that you really investigate this property. Every property is different. No property is the same. It's gonna be different conditions. And so that's true. Like once you go to the house and you can't live in this property, that's gonna directly impact the value. Yeah, first off, I would suggest just learn a little bit about, you know, what that is. And she's gonna learn that in real estate class. Like they're gonna talk about the appraisal when she goes and try to get her real estate license. But just understanding what it is and then the steps to get there by taking the education and then understanding that you gotta get an apprenticeship and work underneath an appraiser. Go ahead. So you're talking about in kind of bad neighborhoods as far as like value-wise? That's the thing about appraising. You're just impartial. You're just going to the property, no matter whether it's in a bad neighborhood or a good neighborhood. You're just trying to get the right value. But I just want to share another thing with you guys. You know, definitely, I just encourage you guys to find your passion. For me, it was real estate appraising. It could be STEM. You know, find something that you love to do and just watch how your life will turn out. Because it's nothing like just loving what you do every day. I feel like I've never really worked. I just do a hobby. And I just encourage you guys just to find something that you love to do. And you can do it right now because I was your age when I decided that I wanted something for me. So I just will encourage you guys to do that. Find something that you love to do and watch how you enjoy, you know, living life. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much to both of our speakers, Mr. Hill and Mrs. Dowdell. I know that some of you did hear our bell ring. However, you are going to Thank you. You're going to be dismissed from here. For those of you that do have questions for our speaker, Mrs. Dowdell, she will be outside and she'll be able to answer your questions. Please remember to approach in a friendly and cordial and orderly manner. Please do not rush her. We're going to dismiss one at a time per section. And lastly, guys, you should be very proud of yourself. I am very proud of each and every one of you. Thank you so much. You guys did phenomenal this morning. I am very proud of you. And I only ask for the same next Friday when we have our guest speaker, Mr. Ken Freeman, as well. You guys will be a part of that as well. So thank you so much. This section over here, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys dismiss. We are only this section. We're going to second block.